If I was to ask you guys what the most stressful part of running an eBay business at my scale currently is, I'd probably get a mix of answers, all the way from customer service to running taxes. And I've spoken about the whole complexities of running an eBay store in a previous video, but this time I want to go over the biggest problem and the most stressful headache in running my eBay store. For those of you who do not know, I am an eBay seller who for the past 3 or 4 months has started selling on eBay, grown my store to having over 200 listings and have sold over 150 items. In the past month alone, I've made about £4,000 worth of revenue and about £1,000 worth of profit. If it sounds like a good story and you want to follow along, please do subscribe, as I always appreciate new people joining this channel. So now let's get into it. The biggest problem which I face running this eBay store, especially at the minute, is supply. Where do I find my supplies from? And how do I find enough supplies? And how do I keep track of stock? At a high level, most eBay stores have this discovered and figured out, but at my current level, I'm in a bit of a tricky position, as like I said, this channel is intended simply to document my experiences, the good and the bad, and at the minute I'm at a point where this has gone from a side hustle, which I can manage very easily making 1 sale a week or something like that, to the point where I'm making a minimum of about 4 or 5 sales a day. When you get to that level, you are in a different territory than what you previously were, because like I said, previously I can find say 2 watches, buy them at a time, send them out, they'll probably sell in a week or 2, happy days, and then I just order some more. Now I have a lot more stock to order. For a start, I have over 200 watches in the store. The question is, how many watches do I keep in stock at one time? And this is a problem that I'm having at the minute. And how do I source enough stock to run this store efficiently? Let me give you an example. Behind the camera, I have a lot of different types of watches, and I want to show my collection / inventory in a different video. But let's talk about one specific item. One item in this collection has sold about 50 or 60 times, which is not bad. The thing is, in the past week alone, this has sold more than 15 items. Normally, I'd be buying in 3 or 4 of these watches at a time, and then they sell out one by one, and then I just buy 1 or 2 more when I need them. Nowadays, they're selling out 10 plus a week. And with a product that sells 10 plus a week, the question is then not what do you buy, how many do you buy, and where can you source it from? Because I'm having that issue with a lot of my inventory right now. I've got some items that sell 10 times a week. I've got some items that sell 2 times a week. And they are growing and getting more and more popular. They started off selling once a week, now they're selling 2 or 3 times. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, how do you keep track of all this stock? How do you know what to buy, when to buy, and how to hold it all? Also, how to have a good inventory system. This isn't really a problem as of yet, and it won't be for a couple more weeks. But as I get more and more stuff in stock and greater numbers in stock, where do I keep it all? And on top of the complex issue of storing it all, then there's a keeping track of everything. Like I said, I know at this point what I need. I know that I need to buy a lot of this #1 watch because it's very popular. I know that my other watches are somewhat popular, and I know I need to buy 1 of this, 2 of that, keep them in stock all the time, make sure everything runs smoothly. The problem is though, how do I find a supplier that can do this with me efficiently at wholesale prices? Because that's the point that I need to get to now, where I can get 10 or 15 of a single item, 20 items at a time from one seller, and my current suppliers are having bottleneck issues with that. And this is a problem which mainly stores that sell new stuff face. For instance, if I was a second-hand clothing store that sells items one off, every single item is unique, I wouldn't have this problem, because each item would be the same thing, and once that item sells, it's done. Whereas if I have, say, this watch that's in my hand, and that sells 250 times, I need to source the same item 250 times, arguably for a good price. But then you have the other end of the straw. What happens if I buy some of these watches behind camera and they don't sell? For instance, one of the watches that I have here, if I can get it out, this watch I thought was going to sell very well, as it did sell about 7 items in a single week. So I thought, we're onto another winning product here, buy it in. I've bought 3 of that product in, none of them has sold in the past 2 weeks. Now I do expect they will sell, but it's just another headache which I didn't expect. If I'd have known that this wasn't going to sell as fast as I thought, I'd have bought 1 or 2 of them in, not 5. Same's true with some other watches behind the camera. Some watches just haven't shifted in the past 2 or 3 months, and that's a bit more stressful, but it's not really a problem as of yet. But the point that I'm trying to make is, whilst taxes and registering as a business is complicated, that's a one-time thing really. Well, taxes obviously continue and continue, but once you know what you're doing, you're good with that. An inventory system is something which is complicated and gets more and more complicated as your business grows. Next month, I would imagine I'll have even more watches in inventory. I'll imagine I'll have to move the inventory off this desk as there'll be too much of it to keep there, and it'll be quite hard to keep track of numbers, what's here, and all that kind of stuff. So I am going to try and get a more efficient inventory system, but this was just a video talking about one of my biggest headaches right now, which is buying stuff in stock, making sure it's the right stuff, and making sure it sells on time. So thank you for watching this one. If you learned something, don't forget to subscribe, but that's it for this one. I hope to see you again in our next video.